So next we've got Diamond Harbour Community Association and Richard Suggate. Now, Richard, I can see you online there. Thanks for joining us remotely. We might just test that we've got the sound okay there. You're hearing us. Can we hear you?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can indeed. So, yep, we'd now invite you to make the submission. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Kia ora koutou katoa. Given the very limited time that you have and I have for the submission, I'll just focus on reiterating a number of key points. The first one is in relation to Diamond Harbour Wharf, and just say that we're very pleased that the council is leaving that in budget and progressing according to plan. That's to completely upgrade the wharf and put in a all-weather pontoon. The second point is that the multi-use potential for Godley House site, we'd encourage the council to continue its investigations to enable a licensed cafe to be established on the site. This may not entail very, very large amounts of council money. It's just a matter of working through the options once the council has figured out how part of the site can be used. Third point, the head-to-head walkway budget and funding and continuing the upgrade of the area between Charteris Bay and Purau. The recent tragic accident on that walkway, where a local resident slipped off the walkway to their death, emphasises the need for that to be further improved. Another point, number 10 in our submission on Banks Peninsula pest control. We certainly support the council's contribution to the work that has been done for pest-free Banks Peninsula, and that the budget provision of 60,000 in this coming year would be appropriate, and would like to see that funding increased in future years. There is also has been some discussion of a Banks Peninsula destination management plan, and given the restructuring of the tourism industry and the need to look at how we can best use the resources on Banks Peninsula and facilities to encourage domestic tourism and what overseas tourism that might be re-established, preparation of a destination management plan would be valuable. There are a couple other items there in terms of the wastewater supply upgrade, safety improvements on the guardrails, guys pass through, that's certainly supported. Footpath improvements, notice there's some at the moment, that's great. Now getting to the big one of the rates increase, we support the council position to go for a 3.5% increase. It's between a rock and a hard place. We recognise where the council's at in that respect. We recognise that the community members are hurting in terms of rates, but recognise that the council needs to continue to provide facilities. And we do take the position that if any significant funding deferrals need to be made, that the multi-use arena could be deferred till sometime in the future. We support the targeted excess water rate charge, not necessarily exactly in that form, but we believe that once a basic allocation has been made according to the number of people in a household, and that allocation should be free apart from purely administrative servicing costs, then water should be charged for above that to encourage water conservation. Lastly, I'll just speak to the question of the glyphosate policy proposal change. We've had a further quite extensive discussion within the Community Association on that, and that now I'm fully appraised of what the 2016 policy has been. We actually would like to say that just continue with the current status quo of the 2016 policy, which allows its limited use in remote situations where there's really no other alternative for weed control than to use that. At that point, I will just stop and encourage any questions.
Thank you. Are there questions? Aaron.
Yeah, thank you, Richard, for your submission. Just on the Godley house site, would the community, to get an outcome, be interested in selling the site to someone that would put a function centre there?
I suspect there would be strong community resistance to that, the sale, but the council could look at options for lengthy leases, for example.
Like a lengthy land lease, you mean? Not to build the building, someone else build it, but they can just lease the land for a long time?
Yeah.
Okay.
But whatever is commercially acceptable and what the community would accept in terms of council land being used for some other purpose.
Great, thank you.
All right, Richard, thanks for the submission this morning. Thanks for joining us, and great that we were able to use the technology to bring you in remotely as well. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.